The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Hello there, Patriots. Grab a glass of something cold, preferably white and crisp, and lean in, because we have a solid show for you today. It is Monday, February 23rd, 2026, and honey, the world is spinning, but we are the ones holding the axis.
Actually, the Earth's axis is tilted at approximately 23.5 degrees, Diane, but for the sake of the metaphor, I'll allow it. Welcome back to the Neural Right. I'm Josh Cohen, and if you're looking for a safe space, you've wandered into the wrong library.
Right?
We deal in the currency of reality here. And today's exchange rate is heavily favoring common sense.
You and your spreadsheets, Josh, honestly, give me a break. We have so much to get into today. We're still thinking about Nancy Guthrie, that poor woman missing in Tucson we talked about yesterday. And of course, everyone in the Northeast dealing with the aftermath of Winter Storm Hernando. But today we start with something that makes me want to stand on my desk and belt out the anthem.
You're referring, of course, to the ice in Milan.
I am. Oh, please. According to the official report from USA Hockey, 46 years to the literal day since the miracle on ice in 1980, and our boys just did it again. Team USA took down Canada for the Olympic gold 2-1 in overtime.
Right.
It was the first gold in 46 years, Josh. NHL.com is calling it a defensive masterclass, but I'm calling it pure American heart.
Okay.
Did you see Jack Hughes? The Sporting News is reporting that he's the new national hero, and he deserves it. He's out there. He takes a high stick from Bennett. He's bleeding. He's literally losing teeth on the ice. And does he go cry in a healing circle? No! He stays out there, takes a pass from Zach Werenski, and slides that puck right through the 5-hole in overtime. That is American excellence. And the best part? President Trump already called them.
Mm-hmm.
They're the guests of honor at the State of the Union tomorrow night. Can you imagine the energy in that room?
It was a statistically improbable performance, Diane. Connor Hellebuyck, who, let's be honest, is playing like he's got 3 extra arms, stopped 41 of 42 shots.
Wow.
Canada had a 42-28 shot advantage, folks. If you look at the shot density, the U.S. shouldn't have been in that game. But Hellebuyck had a paddle save on Devon toes that I've rewatched 15 times. Hypothetically, if I were a scout, I'd be checking for a pulse because he was a machine.
Oh, the Canadians are probably so embarrassed. Imagine losing to the ingrates from the South. I love it. It sets such a perfect tone for the week.
Exactly.
We're winning on the ice. But then you look at what's happening in New York City over the weekend and you realize the crazy world is still very much in business.
The snow ID scandal.
It's a joke, okay? New York gets hit with this bomb clone over the weekend. 20 inches of snow, 1190 KEX, and the Joe Pag Show were breaking this down this morning. The Department of Sanitation is desperate. They're offering $19 an hour for emergency shovelers to clear bus stops and fire hydrants. But Josh, get this. To shovel snow, to pick up a literal plastic shovel and move frozen water, the city is requiring applicants to provide 2 original forms of ID, 2 photos, and their original social security card.
Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that the city actually cares about the rule of law. For a change.
Oh, please.
But here is the logical disconnect. The same administration in New York and the same activists in the DSA claim that asking for a simple photo ID to vote for the President of the United States is voter suppression and racist.
Honey, no, it's embarrassing.
Under the current Board of Elections policy, most registered voters in New York don't need any photo ID. You can bring a utility bill.
Right.
But if you want to clear a fire hydrant for $19 an hour, they need your life history and 2 1.5-inch glossy photos. It's an intellectual desert over there.
Give me a break. You need a social security card to shovel a sidewalk, but to choose the leader of the world? Oh, just bring a utility bill. No problem. These elites think we're stupid. They think the real Americans don't see the hypocrisy.
Well, let's pivot to some hard data on the border, because if we're talking about real Americans, we need to talk about who is actually coming across that line.
Oh, I'm ready.
Folks, according to the latest Department of Homeland Security data released this month, we are seeing a return to sanity.
Finally.
Southwest border apprehensions for January 2026 plummeted to just 6,073.
6,000.
That is a 93% decrease from the historical monthly average of roughly 83,000. And the PB National Media release confirms this is the 9th consecutive month of zero releases into the U.S. interior.
9th month? Wow.
Secretary Kristi Noem has actually managed to implement a zero-release policy that works. Now, the Heritage Foundation has put out a report, which I suggest you read if you like math, suggesting that low-skill immigrant households could eventually impose a net cost of $2.6 trillion on taxpayers.
Trillion with a T?
$2.6 trillion over 30 to 50 years. That's Social Security, Medicare, schools, the resources that my wife, who's a doctor, by the way, sees being stretched thin every single day at the hospital. Facts don't care about your feelings. And the fact is, an open border is a fiscal suicide pact. We are finally seeing the zero release era, and the numbers don't lie.
And you know what the ingrades are saying? They're complaining that it's inhumane. Inhumane to stop 1 million people from wandering into our backyard? Give me a break.
Right.
You know what's inhumane? The fact that Texas had to sentence a criminal illegal immigrant to 38 years just last week for child sex abuse. The Texas Department of Public Safety reported he was on the 10 most wanted list. That's the lived experience the left doesn't want to talk about.
It's the cost of lawlessness. And speaking of costs, let's talk about the cultural cost of the last decade.
Let's do it.
We're seeing a merit revolution in corporate America. Real Clear Markets is reporting that major firms, American Express, Deere & Company, Johnson & Johnson, have officially dismantled their formal diversity mandates for their governing boards.
It's about time.
There has been a 65% drop in diversity commitments among Fortune 500 companies over the last year.
Wow.
Technology leaders like Elon Musk and the CEO of Scale AI are pushing this new concept called MEI, Merit, Excellence, and Intelligence.
MEI, I like it.
It's the direct replacement for DEI, and a lot of this is being driven by Executive Order 14173, which mandated the termination of DEI positions within the federal government.
Right.
My wife has been telling me for months that the medical community is exhausted by identity-based metrics. When you're on the operating table, do you want a diverse surgeon or do you want the best surgeon?
I want the one who didn't skip class for a protest.
Exactly. The LA Times, hardly a conservative rag, is even running pieces now admitting that meritocracy is the only way forward if we want to compete with China.
Even the LA Times, honey. That's when you know the tide has turned. But while we're talking about expert class arrogance, look at Colorado. Westward and Colorado politics have been covering this insane push to consider misgendering in child custody cases.
Right.
Radical senators out there initially wanted to make identity a factor in parenting time decisions. Can you imagine? You'll call your daughter she, and a judge says you're an unfit mother?
Hypothetically, it's a violation of the First and 14th Amendments.
It's a violation of common sense. But they dropped it. They dropped the identity factor after parents started screaming.
Okay.
And it gets worse. The same week, a study reported by Cymex showed that teen cannabis use is linked to serious psychiatric problems.
Right. So we have a crazy world where they want to take your kids for misgendering them, but they're perfectly fine with the kids smoking themselves into a permanent psychosis. Give me a break.
It's a total inversion of priorities. We're medicating our children while trying to deconstruct their biological reality.
It's sick.
It's sick.
It's why the mama bear movement is so important. You have to be the guardrails when the state decides to go off the cliff.
Exactly. Okay, gang, we have to take a quick breather, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're diving into the security breach at Mar-a-Lago and the death of a cartel kingpin. But first, a little reality check for you.
Well, the threats aren't just from North Carolina runaways. We need to look at what just happened south of the border.
El Mencho.
Exactly. The Mexican military has confirmed the death of Nemesio El Mencho Oseguera Cervantes.
Good riddance.
He was the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG. News 24 is reporting he was wounded in a high-stakes capture operation in Tapala. He died while being airlifted. Now, folks, the U.S. Embassy in Mexico has issued an emergency shelter-in-place alert for Americans in 5 states: Jalisco, Tamaulipas, Michoacan, Guerrero, and Nuevo León.
That's half the country.
CJNG is retaliating with narco blockades. They're torching vehicles and using industrial-grade warfare, weaponized drones, and landmines.
Give me a break.
Earlier this month, the Trump administration officially designated them as a foreign terrorist organization. This allows for enhanced military tools.
It's about time. I've been saying they're terrorists for years.
Well, it's a dangerous vacuum, though. When you take out the head of the snake, the body starts thrashing. Americans in those regions need to get out or stay locked down.
It's why we need a secure border, Josh. If they're using rocket launchers in Jalisco, you think they won't use them in San Antonio? Oh, please.
Exactly.
We have to protect our house. And that brings us to the big one, the State of the Union tomorrow night. Josh, tell them what The Guardian is reporting.
This is going to be a moment for the history books, folks. The 2026 State of the Union is being framed as the cornerstone of the semi-quincentennial anniversary.
250 years.
President Trump is leaning into the theme of American resilience. He's calling his agenda a revolution of common sense.
That.
He's invited Speaker Mike Johnson to join him in marking 2.5 centuries of self-governance.
Right.
But the news coming out of the White House and reported by CT Public is that he's going to announce a manifest destiny into the stars.
You're going to Mars, honey.
Massive investments in space exploration. He wants an American flag on Mars for the 250th anniversary.
Can you imagine the left's reaction? Oh, we shouldn't go to Mars. It's not inclusive enough. Give me a break.
Well, let's look at the actual conflict brewing here, because it's not all space flags and hockey gold.
Here we go.
On Friday, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that the president cannot use the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to unilaterally impose tariffs. Now, according to the White House, the president immediately pivoted to Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974.
He's 2 steps ahead.
But let's assume, for the sake of argument, Diane, that the rule of law actually matters.
Oh, Josh.
No, listen. If we start jumping from one legal loophole to another to bypass the Supreme Court, are we any better than the people we criticize on the left?
Are you kidding me?
Hypothetically, if a Democrat president used Section 122 to ban all domestic oil production, you'd be the first one calling for a bar fight.
Oh, you're right, I would be. But Josh, honey, no. This is about the survival of the country.
Okay.
We're in a trade war. The house is on fire because of the elites and their globalism. You don't ask if the fire extinguisher is properly permitted before you spray the flames.
I understand the pragmatism, but I'm the logic bully, remember?
My wife, the doctor, follows protocols because they prevent mistakes. If we don't have legislative clarity on these tariffs, they can be undone by the next person in the Oval Office.
Right.
We need Congress to pass the Save America Act, which just cleared the House 218 to 213, by the way, to show that we can actually govern by law, not just by executive decree.
Well, the SAVE Act is common sense, requiring a birth certificate to register to vote. The Guardian is calling it dangerous, but I call it basic.
Exactly. The ACLU is up in arms because it requires documentary proof of citizenship. But if we can't verify who is a citizen, we don't have a country. That is the ultimate logic.
It's the baseline. All right, folks, that's our recap of this crazy world. We have gold on the ice, chaos at the border, and a president ready to lead us into the next 250 years.
It's a packed week. Stay rational, watch the SOT tomorrow, and remember, facts don't care about your feelings.
And remember, Skeeter Black has a new dog, and we have a new national pride. Keep your chin up, Mama Bear.